I can't be at Knepp today, so instead of an update from the dig, I thought I'd answer a few questions I've been asked over the first couple of days at the site. Because if one person has a question, you can bet that somebody else will have those questions as well. So the first question is, why are you digging there? The simple answer is that in 2021 and 2022, we did some geophysical survey and found a couple of anomalies at Knepp. And we've selected one of those to investigate further by doing some digging. Question number two is, what have you found so far? Well, what's most exciting for archaeologists is often the stuff like pottery and bones, as that helps you date activity at a site. We've not got through to the anomaly that we're looking for just yet, but already we've started getting some medieval pottery coming through and some animal bones. And interestingly, a large selection of oyster shells. I'm not sure what that means, but there's a lot of them. Question number three, what are you looking for? So, I mentioned that we're trying to understand an anomaly, but beyond that, we're trying to understand how the castle developed. This is the first official excavation at the castle, so it has a lot of potential for helping us to understand what's gone on there. And our understanding of the site, therefore, is based solely on documentary evidence, and there are lots of gaps. So potentially, this excavation might help fill in some of those gaps. And as well as the dating, it also will help us understand some of the activities that have been taking place at the castle. That's the hope, anyway. You're never quite sure what you will find until you start digging. Question number four, is it a folly? And that's a really interesting one because it's this landscape feature from afar, and it kind of does look a bit like one. A folly was built specifically just to look good in the landscape. And Knepp is a castle. So it was built in the Middle Ages, probably the 12th century. And it had residential functions, military functions, social, administrative roles. So it wasn't there just to look nice. That was part of it. But an interesting thing is that the local history says that when a nearby turnpike road was built in the 18th century, stone from the castle was used in that construction. So potentially, the reason we have one wall still standing at Knepp is because it was treated like a folly. That part was left as a nice looking landscape feature. So it's not a folly in the sense that it wasn't built just to be like that, but it's kind of adjacent to it. And the final question I've been asked is, what happens once you've finished digging at Knepp? Well, very importantly, we're going to fill the hole back in. We will backfill the trench so there isn't a hole in the ground left, no trip hazards. And importantly, that will preserve anything that we found on site and have to leave in situ. The results will be written up into a technical report that will be publicly available on the Castle Studies Trust website, and we will also be writing it up as a blog post as well, so it's something nice and accessible. The technical report is very important. It has all the information about how the work was done and so on, and previous assumptions and details of all the different contexts that we find on site, but it is not usually intended to be read as a piece of history. Like, you can go in and dip into the summary and the conclusions, but we'll also have something intended to be a bit more accessible. So those are some questions I've been encountering at Knepp and some plans for writing up the work afterwards.